Okay. Finance, money management. Is there a real thing like that? Which school teaches you that so you can do your own financial planning? Why there is nothing like that? Today's topic is your personal finance for young titans. Yes, we will talk about young professionals who are in the workforce for some time, just started their jobs or want to change jobs or career path or embark on a new entrepreneur journey. Where do you start? Well, we have a subject matter expert today. Before that, I just want to introduce the whole platform to you. YTP, Young Titans Platform, a place where you come to join the community to learn, get inspired, share, and discuss your profession, your career path, or any work or life-related guidance. This is where young titans come to learn, starting from interview, first job preparation, corporation culture understanding, career change, new skill learning, and many more. Last Saturday, we had Ron Cooper came in the platform, who is a retired U.S. Air Force officer. His wife was in CIA career, and now with 52 years of his marriage, marriage life and life experience, he became the relationship and life coach. They talked about relationship and different aspects of that. You can find that link in our website or the YouTube channel also. However, today, let me introduce you to few people, then I'll come back and introduce myself and we'll get started. How about we start with Ron? Ron, if you want to, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Sheikh, and everybody. I am Ron Cooper. My wife and I are in the Cooper culture business, where we help people establish a business that is high performing, and that is done through relationship skills and leadership training. So it's good to be with you, Sheikh, and everybody in your audience.
Thank you so much. Yes, there will be people who will be watching it live. So people, please go ahead and watch live or share your Facebook. And now I'm going to ask Kamrul to introduce himself, who just came out of one streaming, and he's been doing live streaming and classes and interviews and all this the whole day. And the timing wise, actually, he's in 10 p.m. time in his local time. But Kamrul, if you can introduce yourself, please.
Hello, and wonderful people out there, right? So it's really, really precious moment to be alongside with Raj, Ron, and Arthi, of course, Sheikh Bhai, and also Dr. Halida Akhtar ma'am. So it's been amazing. I'm looking forward to learn the money mastery, even though and I will watch on the offline. But I'm here to learn today from these dignitaries, all of the global experts from different part of the world. So what a wonderful show is happening with these young titans. Of course, we are proud to be part of it. Looking forward.
Thank you. And then we have Arthi Moore joined from South Africa, one of the most aspiring and successful entrepreneur. Arthi, if you would like to introduce yourself, please.
Yes, hello, good evening, and good morning, wherever you are. I'm Arthi Moore, and I'm a diversity and inclusion specialist for over 23 years, an entrepreneur with 3 companies, and one of the things that I specialize in is I'm guiding and helping people to lead in terms of creating compassionate leaders of influence. So it's a privilege to be here, and I'm absolutely looking forward to Raj's talk today. It's been brilliant to see Ron and Halida and Coach Kamrul as well. They're all inspirational speakers, and I always learn something new and exciting. So thank you for allowing me on to here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And then last but not least, Dr. Halida Akhtar, who was actually the opening speaker for our grand opening of YTP, Young Titans platform. But Dr. Halida, if you'd like to introduce yourself, please.
Hello there. Good afternoon. Good morning. I know that a big crowd is waiting to hear from Raj. I'm basically a reproductive health epidemiologist and a women's health advocate. So I'm a researcher, and I have also run large programs in Bangladesh and abroad. And this is my phase of life that I would like to talk about leadership, share my own experience, my struggles, my challenges, and my successes. But at the same time, my primary objective is to advocate. This morning, I got up at 5:30. In Bangladesh, there was a roundtable on gender-based violence and women's violence and what is happening in Bangladesh. So I've been joining that, and that's one of my area that I would like to talk. But definitely, I would like to talk about leadership and share my experiences. Very inspirational people in front of me: Ron, Raj, our friend from South Africa.
Yep.
Yeah, yes, and Kamrul. So glad to see you, and definitely Zillur, the leader of this platform. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Halida. Well, I am Sheikh Jilur Rahman, engineering background, and at some point I felt and I needed a change and became a career and transformation coach. So love it and waiting for Raj. Anyway, who is Raj? Raj, with 25 years of experience in various leadership positions, Raj can provide you your career and guidance through his work and life experience. He has taken companies from shoestring budget or startup to generating millions of dollars. He has trained at Fortune 500 companies. He presented workshops at Virginia Head Start Association conferences, created a custom workshop on leadership, communication, productivity to private organizations, including CPA firms, law firms, and many non-profit organizations. I know when you associate with him, you will know how he came out so successful from the verge of bankruptcy. Yes, once he was close to bankruptcy, and today net worth in millions, and teaching people how to do that. His courses are starting from $5,000 to $10,000, and teaching others not only money matter but also life. When you are hooked up with him, like me, you won't let him go. Stay tuned to the end of it. That's all I can say. You cannot afford to miss it. But here you go, Raj. If the platform is yours. And by the time, if anybody has any question, anything, please do so in the live chat, and we will get that to Raj or whoever you would like to ask that question to, and we'll get that to you as well. Or you can post your questions and comments later as well. Raj, sorry about that again, but please go ahead.
Well, thank you, Sheikh. That was just too much of an introduction for me. Thank you for that. And I just try to add value to the people that I know and people who I don't know. Wherever you can add value, that is what the essence of life is. And I feel that all the things that you have learned during your life, if you're not able to impart or give that knowledge over to others, then the knowledge has no value, no worth. Because if you keep it inside yourself, what is the use of it? You are here to share things, you are here to give to others. And that is what I still believe and will believe is the essence. And everyone who is here on our platform is at that level. And I'm just grateful to be in presence of such wonderful, wonderful speakers, wonderful people. Sheikh, for you to set up this platform for young titans, this is amazing because there are so many things at this juncture, at this level, at this age that you can learn, which can really change the course of your life. I know for sure there are so many things. If I would have known when I was at this age, my life could have been very different because I went through a lot of struggles, lot of things that I had to learn the hard way. But that is what I would like to give to people now, so that you don't have to relearn the whole thing or reinvent the wheel. Uh, Having been here last week, we heard Ron Cooper about relationships. What an amazing session it was. You will be hearing the rest of our panelists here. Dr. Halida was the first one, and she was just exceptional. Arti, Jan, you are coming on soon. And I'm just grateful to be in the company of such wonderful leaders and wonderful people. And believe me, each and every one of our speakers is at the helm. They know what they're talking about. They're at the top. And when they give to you, there is no holding back. So, what I would say is every single time when we have these sessions on Saturdays, you will know in advance, but plug in. You have to plug in. If you can't, then go back and listen to it. Because what we are teaching you here is some things that you are not going to be able to find in schools and universities. This is coming from solid, real life, hard work, real life experience, and nothing can beat it. And I'll relate with you few of the things. Why am I talking about money? Why should you listen to me? I mean, just having some progress in life, is that all? The main thing is, at one juncture in my life, I was nowhere where I had the money consciousness or even wanted money. Both my parents were teachers. My father, professor in Delhi University, my mother, a teacher teaching high school. And the main thinking in the home and everywhere was education, which I believe is very, very important because knowledge is what can take you places, not just knowledge, but knowledge which is applied. This is the big difference between just knowledge and knowledge that is applied for the right purpose. But at that juncture, the only thing in my head was to get more and more educated. And money was never the foremost thing in my head, or it was nothing that I was looking forward to because that was not there. But yes, I did want all the things, so don't get me wrong, that there were things that I would love to have, uh, irrespective that wasn't there. And then I came to United States for what? To get my master's because I wanted to get a master's, then a PhD. And so I came here to pursue my master's in business administration. I joined the college. I worked very hard, got really good grades, and I was very proud. Finished the 3+ year MBA in less than 2 years. And for that I did work hard. I worked on the weekends uh, to get that extra money that I could to afford everything. Got my scholarship reimbursement and everything. But you know what? Still, money never came to the forefront as I wanted to then go for PhD and everything. That's when I met a professor from New York University. And he told me, he says, you can go for PhD, but why are you looking for PhD? And the answer was because I want to get more educated, make me become a professor, become a teacher, because that is what the line was. But in reality, inside me, there was something calling me that I always wanted a business. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I never knew how to do that. But that feeling was so great that it kept on driving me towards it. But I did not know anyone who really had a business or was very successful in business. I had friends who were, but nobody was ready to give you that knowledge or talk about it. So money never became that part. And so why I'm telling you all this is because at that age, at this age where you are, you might be looking for where you are in your job, where you want to start maybe a small business or anything. But getting that money or loving that money, most of the people feel love of money is bad. Well, love of money is bad if you just love the money for the money itself. But if you start thinking what money can do for you, your mindset will change. So just to let you something else. So at that juncture, in early when as soon as I finished my master's, I joined a nonprofit organization, and over there I started working as an accountant because my field was accounting. And so I could manage money very well for others. What about myself? Well, I started a job, I got the money, and then what? Then I started to spend it because I had been struggling so many years. And before I know, I started getting into debt. And I didn't know how to get out of debt, what to do, and everything. At this juncture, I did meet someone, and that person said, Raj, you have qualification, but if you invest some money with me and open up a business with me, I'll show you how to do the business. And you can be earning over $100,000 plus, like I am. And he did impress us with his $500,000 mansion in Long Island, New York, his Mercedes Benz, his Jaguar, his Cadillac, his all his amenities, his businesses. It was impressive. I felt he was living the life I wanted to live. Now, listen to my story carefully because this is what you don't want to get into. I took $10,000 all on credit cards and I invested it in the business which I knew nothing about. It was ladies clothing dress business. And to make the long story short, we literally started losing money. The guy was a swindler. He had done the similar thing with many other people, taking $10,000 from them and starting businesses on the side. But his intention wasn't right. But he was convincing. And I kept on pouring money. We kept the business open for 2 years. From New York City, we went to Queens, we went to Long Island, we went from stores to flea markets. Nothing worked. End result was when I closed down the business, I was $50,000 in debt. And at that time, I was making around 25, 30,000 or less than that. And so there was, it felt like everything has closed down. I felt all my education, my trust in others had just dwindled. So at that time, I went to my friend and my CPA who told me, Raj, you will have to file for bankruptcy because you have no other option. Understand the words, no other option. The name of my organization right now is Options Ahead because you always have options. Always have options. Understand that. But when I was coming back from there, my heart was telling me, I don't want to file for bankruptcy. This is not me. I come from a hardworking family. This is not what it was. Why did it happen to me? And I was blaming everyone. You know, that's how it happens. And while coming back, I stopped at one of the bookstores and I found this book called The Richest Man in Babylon. When I went home, I read this book cover to cover because it's a small, short book. And I was like, wow, now I know where I have gone wrong. I invested money in a business I knew nothing about. I trusted someone who I did not know too much about. And I have to own my mistake. I cannot be blaming others. At that time, I sat down and I decided. And when you make a decision, that means you're cutting off from everything else. My decision was that I will not file for bankruptcy and I will do whatever it takes, maybe the rest of my life, to pay off this debt and be debt free. That's where my journey started, which was almost 25 years ago, as Sheikh has said. And that is where my learning started. Now, do understand this. I had an MBA in finance, but what did they teach me about the real life business and finance? Almost nothing. Almost nothing. You do not get this teaching in schools and colleges. They teach you to become maybe a beginning entrepreneur or to get a job. And then you keep on struggling through life because you don't understand the laws of money. Over there, from that book, I went and took Think and Grow Rich. And then that journey continued. You might be seeing a lot of books at my behind my shelf. If you take a look, my whole office is full of books and half of my garage too, because that is where you can get knowledge from. Good books, not just books, good books. From there, my journey started and I started learning. I created my own systems. I created my own spreadsheets because every single book that I found had one or the other things about money, but did not give me the full scope. And being at the place where I was, I said, I need to figure this out. And I did figure it out. Once I created my whole thing, my whole systems and everything, I went and progressed on it within 3 years' time, working with a laser like focus, multiple jobs, uh, paying off my debts. Within 3 years, I was debt free. 3 years. And I did not file for bankruptcy. Now, coming along all these years, I later became the chief financial officer at nonprofit organizations where I was handling federal funding for millions of dollars. Think about it. If I would have filed for bankruptcy, who would have given me that job? No one. Nobody would have trusted me with their money. And for 30 years, I worked in nonprofit organizations, many years in the capacity of a chief financial officer. And at that level, I was telling and teaching everyone about money. Then I created a course called Guidance to Wealth. And that is something which I'm taking many of my friends and many of my clients on that journey of understanding the aspects of money. So, this is why I wanted to bring this to you, because I feel if you hear about my journey, you will know how important it is to understand what money is and what money can do for you. Even if you don't like money, like I went to non-profit organizations, and their base was, well, we are serving people. Yes. Can you operate without money? No. But most of them never paid attention towards money. I became a specialist in getting into those nonprofits which were doing just wonderful work, but were struggling because they never put their attention or energy towards the money. And I was able to salvage each and every single nonprofit, taking them from the juncture where they were literally maybe going to close down to right now where they are one of the best places to work for. That was very gratifying. Second thing I learned over here is that there were people coming into nonprofits who were bringing their children for after school programs. Many times I would get applications where they would be asking for either delayed payments or they would be asking, can we have reduction in payments? When I took a look at their pay stubs, which was a part of, because I was the one that was signing off if they could get a reduction, I'm looking, they're making 100, 200, $300,000, some of them. And I'm like, what is wrong here? And that's when I started delving deeper into it and found that most of the people just don't have that money consciousness. Because at the juncture where they should have learned about money, they just learned about how to spend money. That's all. And that is where the big problem comes in. So this is the right time for you to understand how money works, what money is, how do you handle money, and that is why I created my course, because I found that even if you're making six figures, you're making millions, seven figures, if you do not have that money consciousness or you do not understand the working of money, you will lose it. Many of my clients have said after taking my program that if they had this program years ago, their bank balance and their account would have been very different now. So now coming to you at this juncture, young titans, I want to bring these things to you. Because if you get that awareness now and you do understand the money aspect of your life, your things could be very different. So, what I would like to talk about is first of all, if you're in a job, then we will talk about 5 ways to excel in your job. Because if you excel in your job, then you make sure that your money keeps on coming in. And then we will talk about if you are in an entrepreneur, what are the 5 steps that you can grow your business? Because that sustainability is there. Then we will talk about how to handle your money, some of the money saving habits, and then you ask me any questions that you want, and I will end with some questions that you can ponder upon. So, as Sheikh had said, that anytime you feel like you can put your questions in, and I will entertain any of the questions you need. But first things first, money, as I said, is most important aspect. If you do not like money, and you feel that money is not there, just think twice. Because if you don't like money for yourself, my thing would be do your best. Get the money that you want, then help others with it. Give it away. Okay? Give it away. If you don't want it, give it away. There are many people who really need it. There's a lot of need out there. But become an expert on your own money because it is your money. No one and no one will be able to handle your own money better than you. Now, I had this is an example, and I will maybe release this video. I had interviewed Ron Cooper, who's right here with us. Ron always was in a job, and with that, he has been able to work the money the right way to make a life which many would just envy. And hey, Marty and Ron talked to me. And I spoke to them for 35, 40 minutes, and I have a video which I will share with you, which you can listen to as to how they did it across their life. And now they're living a life where they have choices. They have choices. Most of the people right now are struggling because what happens is at your age, at this young age, you do not think so far ahead as to what you want to do. And that is where we will talk about a few things. Yes,
Raj.
Sheikh.
Yeah, just a quick thing. There, I just wanted to interject here and not meaning to interrupt you, uh, because at that age, because I passed that age also, the young age, at that time when you have a job and you're just a student and making no money or almost broke, and after that you get a job and you get 30, 40, $50,000 a year, $100,000 a year, whatever that case is, and depending on your education background, job, and all those. But that is, it seemed like, a lot of money all on a sudden that came into you, and you don't understand at that time, with that mentality of, from almost broke or very little money to that kind of, money and all those. It's hard to imagine, because I was thinking, okay, this is enough money. Whatever I do, as you said, people concentrate more on buying and using that money than doing other things, and that's exactly what happened. So I'm a best example of on that. Also, on your examples, that yes, I did not have money, even though I made enough money. So, but it's very hard for these young titans, or that's the people at that age and within that range, to really understand why they need it, or it may not be them, or it is yeah, there are a lot of people, but not me, or something like that. Do you think that has anything to do, or what, or in other words, is it for everybody or just some people,
What I'm saying
what
is
you're
for
saying?
everybody. It's not for some people. Because some people would say, okay, I am going to work as uh, a person who is going to be helping others. Now, what I feel is many times they would, the people who shun money, that they let me not be in the money. But do understand that if you're able to obtain that money, how much bigger your help could be. Most of the people say that the people who are rich are, or the wealthy people, they don't think about others. The problem is, if you take a look right now, the most money that is coming from is the people who are really wealthy. Take a look at Bill Gates and how much he gives. Okay. He has only been able to give all these things is because he has the money. So understanding that money concept is really important for everyone. It is just that our conditioning has been such that we get many times aversion to money, meaning to say it feels from our upbringing, because money is a sort of a taboo topic on many of the dinner tables. People just don't like talking about it. Many of the cultures just push it aside. They would be doing everything but talking about money. And you know what? I know because I'd asked one of my cousins one time who had helped a lot. And I just asked, I said, I'm getting into this field. Would you be able to tell me how much money does a job like what you are doing bring? And her answer to me, oh, this is such a personal question. And I was like, what is so personal about it? If you're able to share and help others, wouldn't it be helpful? So there is a very negative connotation at many junctures, Jake. And what we do is because we don't understand it, we get the money. And many times what we say is, we need more money. We need more money. We need more money. And once we keep on getting more money, we keep on spending more money because we find how to fulfill our needs, and needs become bigger and bigger and bigger. So, starting with this, what I would say is there are four aspects to money and wealth. Number one is the generation of it, where most of you young titans are. That is how you generate the wealth. Generation of wealth can be through your job, it can be through a business that you are doing, or could be through passive ways where you can generate income. Uh, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Those are the investments and everything. And that is where you keep on going to different levels and getting to that. Number two is saving of money. Without saving, specifically, I know in United States, I'm seeing so many people who do not have the savings mindset at all. At all. And we will talk about that because of instant gratification that is being put out there. That's what happens. Number three is growing your money. Once you have generated money, number two, you have started saving money, then you need to grow your money. Let your money work. Let your money make money for you. Okay. And then the final thing which most people miss, and I did, was that you need to protect your money. Protect your money from people like the story I just told you, from the guys who are swindlers who are out there to take your money. So, if you are able to master these four aspects and then instill the money habits, your life would take a very different turn. First thing is to become aware of it. Because if you're not aware of it, then there is a problem. So, let's talk about 5 ways to excel in your job. Okay. 5 ways to excel in your job. The first thing you need to see is and talk and understand, this is an important aspect. Why am I on the payroll? See, most of the people get into a job, they start learning what they are supposed to do, and they just stop there. But if you start thinking, why am I on the payroll? Why has the company put me on the payroll? Why are they paying me the money? That way, your mindset is going to change. And that way, you will start working towards generating more for the organization. Your value at that time is going to go up because you will be thinking differently. And anyone who asks this question, why am I on the payroll, has a very different set of circumstances in their head and they work very differently. Now, this is a question that you need to keep on asking throughout your career, throughout your life. And if that question comes up, you will be working very differently. Many of the people go there, they work their job because they are supposed to work from 9 to 5, and that's what it is. They're trying to do half-assed work. They do something and they're out of there. But I'm sorry, but that is not what you should be or are. Number two is you need to upgrade your skills. Upgrading your skills is that you have come out of school, college with certain skills. People who are going to outperform others in the job is the ones who have a better skill set. So what you need to do is you need to invest in yourself. If you're listening to me here and you're listening to or going to be listening to rest of our speakers, you will understand that you are now investing in yourself. If you're here, that shows that you have the capability of investing in yourself. That means you listen to different things, learn, get your skills better. Now, let's say you have started at a position in an organization. Take a look at what is the next position level that could be attained. Start learning about it. Start learning. What is the exact skill that is needed? So, whenever a chance comes in, and there are 5 people who might be thought of, who might go to the next level, well, with your skill, they are going to choose you. And that can only work is if you keep on investing in yourself, pouring in yourself, and upgrading your skills. Number three thing that I feel in job, I mean, so there are a lot of things. I'm just going to go over 5 of them right now. Number three is teamwork. Most of the people try to become a person who can solely by themselves do everything. That doesn't work. Even in a job and your own business, if you are able to get to a level in a small business, teamwork is of utmost importance. You need to make sure that you have a winning team. A winning team. Team, one person alone cannot do as much as a team can do. You cannot have all the skills. You might be able to pour into yourself and excel, become skills, but with the rest of the people on the team and everyone going in and putting their skill set at the best use can make a huge change. One of the big things, I was just reading the book, rereading the book, Good to Great. If you haven't, I would love for you to go through that book and read it. It tells how top notch, great companies, because good is the enemy of great. If you're good and you say, I'm good, that's fine. No, you need to become great. And to become great, you need to get specific skills. You need to learn specific things. Teamwork is one of the most important one of them. Together, you can make a big, big, big difference. Next thing that you need to work on is your communication and connection. Communication and connection with the others is most important. You need to be crystal clear in your communication. Most of the people try to be very clever, try to be clear over clever. Always try to be clear over clever. Clarity is of utmost importance because most of the people where they do not are not able to work well is because of the communication. Now, Harvard Business Review said that communication is number one criteria for advancement and promotion for the people, and that is the ability to communicate effectively. If your communication is not good, you will have a very hard time moving forward in your job. You have to be very clear with your peers, with your superiors, your supervisors, or the people who are in your team or who work with you. Crystal clear communication for me was a must. I have created a nonprofit where I said that I was able to change the nonprofits. Two things that happened is one, I got the perfect or the right team that was needed. I gave them enough ammo to work on and make sure that they had enough leeway to make the changes. But the communication between the team was crystal clear. Crystal clear. They knew exactly what had to be done. If it was coming from me or even from the chief executive officers or the board of directors, the communication was very, very clear. So make sure that you make your communication clear, and then the connection. How do you connect with people? Many times people shun people at the job. That doesn't work that way. It doesn't mean that if you're an introvert, that you cannot talk to people and you will be shunning people. I know at one juncture, I was an introvert, but I made sure that I valued people. If you're going to value people, your connection with people is going to be very different. So instead of just taking everything in yourself, release it. Talk to others. See, if you keep on taking everything in yourself, there's a limit that you can do. I was hearing my mentor, John Maxwell, who has talked about it. And he says, think about it. Be like a river, not a reservoir. Meaning to say, let it flow. Let's say, for example, you want to keep everything to yourself. So take a breath of air. Keep on breathing. Keep on breathing. How much air and for how long can you take it in? You will have to release that. That is exactly how think of the knowledge you have. I know for many times people used to tell me, Raj, why are you teaching all your skills to your team? How come? I said, I'm preparing them to become better managers, better leaders. But what happens if they come and they are able to get your job? What will you do? I said, if I would be so scared of my job, then I don't need that job. I don't need that job. I should never be scared that somebody else can come in and take my position because I have learned, as I said, why am I on the payroll? I had upgraded my skills. I had worked in teamwork. My communication and connection was good. And I had full trust in myself. At that time, I had absolutely nothing to hold back. And the best part is, all the people who I hired in the organizations I was, they are still there, making a huge difference. And you know what? They're still in connection with me. After 20 years, I'm still in connection with them because I valued them and they value me. Nothing beats relationships. So we are talking about money. But believe me, money is a conduit that can help you towards things. It is not a be all or the end. Get that point. And final thing that I will talk about in excelling in your job is become a problem solver. If you are able to become a problem solver in your job, then they cannot get rid of you. A situation like COVID happens or anything happens, they will need you because you are the problem solver. So take a look into it and find where the problems are and how you can help solve those problems. Become invaluable. My first job, I started in the nonprofit organization. I started at, as I told you, around $26,000 at that time as an assistant controller. I was there for over 18 years in that organization. I helped build that organization. I went to a controller position, chief financial officer position, and then in the next organization also I was even the acting CEO. Why? Because I was fully in there. I was solving the problems and all the other aspects went into it. That's the only time you feel that the job is so fulfilling. You go over and above. I mean, when I found out that I had done the CFO role quite a bit and I had more time, I started delving into IT. I learned all of IT. I created a computer lab for the seniors in one of the organizations. And you know what? I was so passionate that the company didn't have much money. I bought secondhand computers and I built them myself. Why? Because that was my passion. So you become so valuable for your company that you are the only one who will leave when you leave. They cannot let you go. So these are the 5 things that you can do to excel in your job. Now let's go to the second aspect. And if you are an entrepreneur and you have a business that you might be started, first thing that I would like you to take a look at is, and by the way, all these years that I was in a job, I always had a business on the side. So I was always an entrepreneur. And the business which Sheikh was talking about, where I was able to take the business from a shoestring to making over millions of dollars few years in a row, that was while I had my job. Okay, while I had my job. So yes, you can do a lot. Don't at this age, at least specifically. Now I'm cutting down, coming to focusing on few things. But when you can, get it done. Pour into yourself, and you will have a life that you most people just dream of. Just dream of. So, first things first is, are you working in your business or are you working on your business? Working in a business generally is, which most of the people are doing, is that once you start a business, you literally are getting and taking it as a job. So you have, instead of having a boss on your head, you have invested in your own business and now you're on your own boss. So many times, you might be the worst boss for yourself because sometimes people are working 10, 12, 15 hours, not paying attention towards anything else, but just so crazy about it. Start to think and take business as a business, that it can generate the money, the wealth for you. That is why you created it, not to make it an over compulsive, obsessive thing where you just need to work on and then you find something is coming in. Use the leverage. So, 5 things here. First thing you need to do is to take a look at what are the low hanging fruits. What does a low hanging fruit mean? Low hanging fruit means what is the easiest way that you can go forth in your business and get that money. A quick example here. I was working with one of my clients who has a spa, and she was asking me, Raj, I know you do this business consulting. How can I increase my business? I have been trying this, trying that. And she was working in her business, as I said. She was doing the job herself with few of the other people, but busy, 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 not making enough, just making enough to pay the rent. First thing I noticed, and I'm going to give you one example only from the whole aspect as to what you can understand how to think about your business, about the low hanging fruit. So I looked at her and said, you're working in a medical building. There are like 70, 80, or 100 doctors' offices in this building. What have you done to get a couple of thousand people that walk into the building every day? Answer was nothing. So first things we did was we set up an advertisement right in the front for the people to put in their business card so they can get or win a free massage every single week. That's where she started getting the business cards. People were like, okay, why not? Number two, told her very quickly to go to the doctor's office, offer them a free massage to the doctor or at discounted rates for their staff in exchange for her to put her brochure and her flyers on their front desk. Can you believe how much of a difference that made? And because she was so good, I was able to take testimonials from few of the doctors who got massage from her and put them online. So that in nutshell was a low hanging fruit right there, which she didn't notice. And your business, think about what is the low hanging fruit that you can reach out and make money from right away. Get and invest in that. Number two, do you know what your customer acquisition cost is? How much does it cost for you to acquire a customer? As a entrepreneur, many times if you have a business, you will be spending money on sales, on advertising, and how much of that can convert into a long time or a long term customer? What is the lifetime value of a customer? So I'll give you a quick example here too. Let's take a person is a dentist and it takes them $300 to acquire one customer, maybe 300. Okay, first time a person comes in, they're able to get some cleaning and they spend $50, $60. If the person never comes back, the dentist has actually lost $240. Now with my dentist, I have been going there for 10 years and I have referred people to him, which we'll talk about again. But what is the lifetime value of the customer? That's what you need to think about. I just did a whole radio show talk on this actually, your customer acquisition and your lifetime value of the customer. Really an important aspect to think about. And once you know what your customer acquisition cost is and the lifetime value of the customer is, then you need to talk about how can you make the journey of your customer a one that they are always going to be there with you. How can they become your raging, raving fans that they take your business and they tell other people how good you are? That is the way to increase the business. And that is the third part, which I just said, that is repeat customers. Repeat customer is a must. See, what happens many times is that most of the people, specifically salespeople, get money because they generate new leads, new customers come in. When new customers come in, understand they are very gung ho because they are invested money. Then the buyer remorse comes in where they are like, hey man, did I invest it in the right place? But if you are able to take them on the journey and they believe that they have made the right decision, that when they will become your fans, they will become a part of your tribe. But what happens is, what do we actually reward? We reward customer acquisition, new customer after new customer after new customer. Okay, that is important. I understand. But has anybody rewarded those people who are taking care of those customers? If not, start thinking about it. You could have a fewer customers, but if their lifetime value of the customer is good, you can have a business which could be thriving. Small things, but really important to understand. Next, if you have those really raving fans, then you need to ask for referrals. Referral can give you so much business because if somebody has referred someone, the value or the level of them become your customer becomes at least 50 times higher than a brand new customer because somebody referred them. They already have added value, they're already sold. And so don't shirk on asking for referrals, only if you're good though. So become good first. Okay. And the final thing on this is, do understand what your USP or unique selling proposition is. Very important. Most of the people are into almost everything. I do this, I do this, I do this. And the persons get confused as to what exactly the value that they are providing is. So find what your unique selling proposition is and hone in on that. Hone in to the point that that becomes a part of your DNA. When you're talking to someone, your passion will come out. So these are the 5 steps to business growth, which is low hanging fruits, customer acquisition cost, repeat customers, referrals, and your USP. I really hope you got value out of these 2 things, because this is where you're going to get generation of the money for you. Now, are there any questions, Sheikh, or anything that you want to interject? Or um,
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that Raj, that you covered. I mean, I'll definitely have to re-listen a few things, but I see that you covered actually the job aspect and
yes.
also the entrepreneur aspect, and because you are involved in both. But one question that I always have for people like you are, who are very successful or high up there, and they did multiple things, that how you managed all these things. I know as far as job, you had a very high pressure job all the time. I saw you working, 12 to 16 hours days and things like that, where you were not able to even return my call and stuff like that. I mean, all respect to you, I understand. But I'm just saying that within that time, you developed your course, you had some things going on, and there are some, of course, some life stuff going on here and there. So all these things, how was the management? And the same thing actually I asked one time to Ron as well, but I don't know if any of you want to have any view on that, or what would be the, for the young people, and they are also busy and they're learning, they just started a new job, and the job might be doing for some time, they want to add some new skills, and they have hobbies or life, family. So within that, how do you manage that?
How did I manage it? I can tell you about that, and maybe people can learn from that. My management of this was because I was so passionate about what I was doing. If you are in a job you're not passionate about, you would not be able to put that passion in there. Even if you have a business, and if your sole purpose, we are talking about money, but if your sole purpose is just to get money, you then the passion is not there. The passion has to come from your heart. And if you are on purpose doing what you are doing, then these things start automatically happening. You start seeing the ways. Number 2 is organization of it, and it'll focus. If you start focusing on every single thing, there's a problem. You have to take one lane, and you need to start focusing on that lane. And once you have mastered that area, then you go and take the second one. I do have a problem in here, because I do have a tendency to take on too much. And that does, that can burn you out, no question. And that time, one important thing that I learned, and I learned the hard way. So very, very good question, Sheikh, by the way. And that is where that I never took time off, which I found was really, really not good. So the main thing is you need to set time for rest and recreation. So in my calendar, I started scheduling that time, that this is my free time. And when I talk about free time, that means my cell phone is there, everything else is there. If it's a family time, then that's my family time. And that is where you start focusing on and create that rest and recreation time. Because, as Stephen Covey said, that you have to sharpen your axe. And I never did that. I was keeping on going, going, going. And then you start becoming dull. But if you take a break, take a couple of days off, go somewhere. And that's when how did I find that out? I was reading biographies of these really rich, wealthy, successful people. And I was amazed that they were spending more time on rest and recreation than on their projects. And I'm like, how is that possible? And that's when I started doing it, was to taking some time off. And when you come back, your productivity just quadruples. So always, for anybody who is young, I know you have the energy, the passion, you keep on going. But if you start making that as a life lesson where you need that time off, your productivity will go up. And I did learn about how to increase my productivity at very different levels, which is a different topic altogether, because I do teach on that too after I learned that as to how to increase your productivity. But rest and recreation was an important part of it.
I don't know if you guys have any other question here. There's some comments, but no question on the Facebook. But if you have any question, go ahead. I do have one question, but I want to hold until anybody has any other things.
Okay, so let me move here. Yes, Ron.
Raj, let me ask you about personal finances. I am making an income that some people may say is a good income. However, how would you help me determine if I'm in financial balance? You seem to be alluding to a financial balance that not spend too much money on different things. So maybe there is a financial balance. How would you help me determine if I am in financial balance? Because I can't make room for anything more.
Okay. Actually, that was my next topic that I was going to talk about. So you just asked the perfect question to delve right into it. So that is where your money saving habits come in. And most of the people just don't have the money saving habits. So let's go over about that a little bit. Once you start making your paycheck or some money starts pouring in, you have taken a job, it feels like you're getting so much money, which you have not seen before many times. And at that time, all your wishes and everything which you wanted to do, you start to spend money like crazy, because that is where uh, these habits are. You're seeing people enjoy on Facebook. They are doing this. Why can't I? And you know what? Don't ever envy that. Don't ever do that. Don't compare yourself to anyone. So, first things first is most of the people go for instant gratification because our societies are geared towards it. All this advertising that you see on Facebook, that you see on all the social media channels, you see on television, is made for instant gratification. And what you do is you take your money and you spend right away. And then, like Ron said, I'm making okay money, but I still don't have enough. There's no financial balance because most of the time you're spending money without planning it. If you haven't planned and you're spending money, you are living from paycheck to paycheck. There are so many clients that I've worked with, and so many of my friends who are in this boat where they are just taking a look, have that instant gratification feeling where they need to get it now, but their financial life never comes to be in balance because you are not saving anything. The first thing to do is to pay yourself first. You must have heard of it many times. It's everywhere. Pay yourself first. But how many people are there who are actually implementing that? Very few. Why is this topic so important? The reason for this topic to be so important is that many times, and this happens so many times when a person talks to me, they say, Raj, everything I'm making is mine. What do you mean pay yourself first? My answer is, don't you pay your rent? Don't you pay your electricity bill? Don't you pay the people for food? How much is left in the end for you? And generally the answer is either negative or nothing. And the problem is that, you know what? You said the government doesn't trust you, by the way. And you know why? That is the reason they take the taxes out of your paycheck first. Whenever you get a paycheck, the government doesn't believe that at the end of the year you're going to save the money and pay them the taxes. They take the taxes right off the bat, and that's when you get a net paycheck. Okay, so government doesn't trust you. Same thing you need to do for yourself. The aim from my perspective at this level where you are is to get to 10% of your net paycheck as savings. Now you can say 10% is just too much. I have so many obligations. I have to drink that Starbucks latte every day. Well, okay. So you can buy your own coffee. It's just a metaphor, but many people just do that. And if you take a look at the cumulative effect of that, It is unbelievable. People are spending $5,000 to $6,000 many times on just coffees and lattes across the whole period of a year. It is staggering. Now, best thing is to automate things. That's the way I have found to be working with all of my clients. Automate it. That means that if once you get a paycheck, automatically up to 10%. You're saying I can't afford 10%? Okay. Can you afford 1%? I can bet you can afford 1%. You're not going to miss 1%. Then keep on starting it and make it 2%, 3%, 4%. And you keep on going forward with it until you reach that 10% level. And that is the least, I would say. It helped me a lot. My automation was that automatically out of my paycheck when it came in, 10% would go to either a savings or an investment account. Standard. And I kept on increasing till the time I reached 20% actually. And it is important because you do not see that money. And so that is how your financial life starts coming in stability, like Ron said. Because you start feeling, oh, I have this stack of money here, which I can reach out. Second thing I would say to get that stability is set up an emergency fund, emergency or rainy day fund. Meaning to say, many times emergencies come in. At least start with $1,000, if nothing else, $500. Take cash, put it aside to be touched only in case of emergency. And you will not touch it. And once you touch it, when the need is an emergency, then replenish it as soon as you can. That is also going to bring your financial life in balance. Number three thing, which was not a part of it, but again, as Ron asked, one exercise which I tell my clients to do within my program is a 30-day exercise. For 30 days, write down every single penny you spend. You all have smartphones. So anytime you spend on a Coca-Cola, on a latte, on anything that you eat out, I'm not talking about big expenses of electricity, rent, no, your regular expenses. But for 30 days, jot down every single penny. This is an exercise. You're making good, you're not making good, doesn't matter. This will reveal to you your spending pattern and you will know because many times you will spend money without thinking. We all do that. I have been in that boat multiple times, believe me, because this instant gratification will get you. Oh my God, I have an iPhone 10. I want that 11. Well, you just got it 6 months ago. So what? I can afford it. They're giving me really great deal. Great deal for whom? For them or for you? It is your money. Nobody will take care of your money as you can. So all those aspects, smaller aspects, as I'm telling you, think about it. Many times people get their student loans. They start spending on credit cards. They get into credit card loans. Be very careful of it. I use credit cards a lot, but for what? To pay it fully at the end of the month. They're losing money on me because I don't pay interest. But it becomes a good tool for me to track my expenses and get points for different things. So you can use it, but use it intelligently. If you do not have the discipline, then do not use it. And that is few of the things, Ron. I think I related to that as to how you can start getting into financial balance. Does that answer the question, Ron?
It does. Thank you,
Wonderful,
Raj.
wonderful.
Good job.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
That was
So,
wonderful.
thank you. And so,
Yeah.
from that aspect, let's talk about a few other things. And that is, you need to literally automate everything, not only your savings. If you're paying off a debt, you need to automate that too. Automatically let that. If you're investing money, automate it. Let that compound. And I hope you understand what compounding of effect of money is, because I have a small slide. Maybe I can share that about compounding of interest. Because at this level, if you can understand the compounding, it might be really, really great for you. So let's see if I can share my screen. Is it coming along, Sheikh?
Not yet. I don't know if you can share, but in the meantime, Yan, Arti, Dr. Halida, if you have any question whatsoever or any comments on this, to help the young titans or to help them think better because I know Raj's course, I took them and I went through, and me and Ron, we talked about it. It's unbelievable. It's powerful. It's detailed, but at the same time, it's simple but powerful. Raj, it's not coming yet. Yes,
So
Dr. Halida, you had a
from my
question.
aspect, from my perspective, it says that it is sharing.
Okay, let's see if we can do it. But
I'll
in
do
the
it once
meantime,
more.
yeah.
It is not. It's not. No, I very quickly. I mean, it was very absorbing lecture. I just enjoyed it thoroughly. One comment or from my life experience, I just want to share to the listeners that how treat yourself. How do you treat yourself? You define what makes you happy, and it's very culture specific, country specific, and many other. I'm sure the Raj, it's in tune with what Raj was saying and what our life. You can go to to a ride or go to Cox's Bazar or fly somewhere, Caribbean or something. That's one thing. But for some people, relating with friends, going to a small place in a ship, and you enjoy it. So I think it's very important to ask yourself what makes you happy. Not imitate somebody else who is doing, not your next door neighbor is doing what. And also teach your children, because children also demand. I think that's the family value, the family wantedness, and the family desire. They come in a compact way as a small community in the household. So I think it's very important to see what gives you happiness, what makes you help to treat yourself. Those kind of things are
And
very important.
that is
Thank you.
absolutely on the point. Thank you so much, Dr. Halida. That was so nice.
Thank
So
you.
let me quickly go over the miracle of
Thank you, Raj.
compound interest, and then we can go for the questions quickly. So I'm not sure if my screen is being shared or not now.
No, it was a little bit ago, not right now.
It's
There you
coming.
go.
Okay.
It was a little bit. Yeah. No.
So
Yeah.
is the full screen coming now?
Yes.
Okay. So let's go over quickly with the miracle of compound interest, because I think that's really important to understand. And I just wrote down a few things here. I'll just read it to you, because whenever it comes to calculating interest, there are two choices: simple and compound. Simple is a set of percentage for a principal every year. Compound, on the other hand, means interest on interest. This is what has made so many investors so successful. Actually, Einstein said that this is the biggest miracle of compounding of interest, if you really understand it. And this is the basic building block in banking. So let me go over that quickly. Let's take two factors into account. If you invest $10,000 at 10% simple interest, what you will get after first year is 1,000 added to your account. Second year, you'll get another 1,000. And that's how it keeps on growing by 1,000 each. But compounding, you get 1,000 added to your account the first year. So first year, both are the same. Second year, the magic starts to happen. You start to get 10% interest on $11,000. That produces $1,100 in the second year. And that will be added to your principal, and 10% will be received on that. So you see how this can actually become such a great thing. So let's take an example here. Let's leave this investment for 30 years without touching it and let the money compound at 10%. After 30 years, your investment would be worth $174,494. See the progression. After 5 years, your 10,000 has grown to 16. 10 years, 25,937. After 15 years, 41,000 plus. After 20 years, 67. After 25, 108. And after 30, 174. That is the power. That is the power of compounding of interest. Now, the sooner you start, the better off you are. I started doing this when I understood this in depth at a much later age, because every time I used to say, man, I don't have enough money to invest, until I went into automating it. And then that small amount of money every single month went into my investment account, and it kept on compounding to the point when I looked at my account, I was like, wow, I didn't even realize it as to how powerful it is. And at that time, I said, man, if I could have started 10 or 20 years earlier, I would have known everything. So this was basically just a straightforward calculation, because your compounding can compound quarterly or monthly. Now, do understand this. This is very, very beneficial, as I said, to start early. You need to start saving and have it invested maybe in mutual funds. I'm not going to go into all the details today, because that is not the purpose of our call. The purpose of our call is to understand that you do understand. Here it is, like that you start valuing your money and how it can grow. See, as I said, talk to you. 1 cup of latte spent gives you instant satisfaction. Money saved and invested to grow can give you that financial independence. Get as many lattes as you want them. Okay. So do that. So understand, if you have more money to invest and you let it compound, how much it can create for you. If you're saving that 10%, let it compound. Let it automate. And soon you will realize that you will not have a need for a job or a need for a business, because your money that you would have compounded could be paying for all your daily expenses. And then you will be working because you want to, not because you have to. A very big difference in how you can be leading your life. At this juncture, at this age, if you understand just this simple concept, just a simple concept, because everybody has heard of it, but very few people utilize things. Main thing is to take action. Just understanding is nothing. Act on it, and you will have a very different life.
Wow.
We are at our time, so
Yeah, we're
I can
almost
keep on sharing things all day, Sheikh. You know that. So
yes, yes, of course, I know your passion, but just to have it complete properly, and to give the proper value of on this panel, everybody that are actually listening and actively working and together to help this community. If you guys have any question, anything, or any comment, please do so, because that is very, very valuable. And I do have one quick thought or question after that. If you, Jan, anything from you from Scotland? Any or I know you're middle of the travel and everything, but thank you for joining. I value and honor you for your time. But I know you have a lot to add, and I know we can go on forever. And I know you are coming on the platform also in September 2nd week, and Arthi is probably coming on the 3rd week, so on and so forth. And we have Dr. Madhuri and one other person coming in who are very, very successful, young generation, very young people, just started their family and stuff, So that's also coming 2 weeks from today. But any question from you all?
No, for me, it's just I'm very grateful to be here, and always a blessing to listen to all the knowledge that Raj has, and I know he's got a lot more. I'm convinced of it too, and I know it. But yeah, we're going to stop sometime. But I look forward to hearing more of his knowledge, because I'm always learning from all of you too, and from Raj especially as well. Especially it's so important, the financially, and so often so misunderstood that. To bring this to the young professionals now, and to the young entrepreneurs, I think it's so important that they actually learn this. As Raj said himself, I wish I'd learned this earlier, he said, and I think we're probably all in agreement on that. But these young professionals are at that time in their life that they should at least become aware of this and seriously start paying attention to what Raj is saying, because the financial side of things becomes so much more important as we go through life. And to learn as early is a not just one golden nugget. It's just you can't put any monetary value on the value of learning this. So thanks, Raj, for this.
My pleasure.
It's been amazing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Raj, I just wanted to maybe for everybody kind of a question that I had or I actually discussed with somebody at some point because of this COVID situation and everything. You know, everything is online and people are graduating also. And we see that more educational institutes are out there, certification, this, that, all those things are out there. So there is a influx of graduates and people. So number of work out there, jobs out there, all these things. How will people get job on the right track? Meaning what they really want, and where should they spend that money to acquire that job or skills that you talked about? What do you think? And based on that also, how will that have that ROI, the return on investment will be there or not? If so, any guidance or anything on that, because they always have limited money, right? People, the students, or even the first job when they started and they have maybe 2 years job, 2 years graduation or 4 years graduation or whatever, or a PhD or a postgrad, whatever the case is, the limited money, where will they place it to acquire that skills, and how will they judge, and things like that, if you have any guidance on that.
Well, what I would say is that right now, given the COVID situation, this is a very unique situation. Obviously, something like this has never happened before, and it is not going away anywhere fast. That means the way we are working, the way we are living, all the things have changed in our life. The way we do business has changed. The way we are working now, many people right now are thinking in negative terms, meaning to say, oh my God, when will my life come to normal? My question is there going to be the normal? There will be a new normal. That old normal is not coming back. I don't foresee it. If it comes back, nothing better than that. But you know what? With the changes in things, people have to adapt to it. First thing to do is, what exactly are your goals? What exactly are you have in mind that you really want to do? Obviously, that goals would have shifted if it was something that you wanted to do in front of people in live presentations. It would change. So the main thing is to learn the new technology, get a hold of it, get a handle of the new technology, make it your friend. Don't shun it, because this is going to stay there for you, whether you're in a job, whether you are in a business. Now, what you can see is you can take a look at two things. You can take a look at the negatives and you can see how bad things are. And that will keep you down that spiral where you will keep on doing that. And believe me, many people are doing that. And that just becomes such a big mountain in front of you, because what you are focusing is on a problem. But if you start focusing on a solution, the answer that has to come to you, then the answers will come to you. Everybody's different. So there is not one rut or one answer that I can give, because everybody has their own way of working. And if you start focusing, your focus has to change. If you start focusing on a problem, the problem will become bigger. If you start to focus and change that focus and make it to a solution, you will start getting the answers. Because there are so many things, new things that have come up because of the internet, because of the online presence, that if you start taking a look into it, you are going to find a niche there. You're going to find what you're doing right now, how it can be utilized into that aspect. What is really, there are so many people who are making so much money. I know on a monthly basis, their business has increased multiple fold. Just to give you a quick example, two restaurants, both of them on maybe two sides of the street. One of them, and this is the real story actually, which I read, that's what I'm telling you, I'm not naming anything, but one of them is thriving right now, and the other one is almost on the verge of closing. And the answer is why? Because one of them's mindset was that this is how we do business. This is how we have done business. And we are waiting for things to become normal. The other person said, things have changed. What exactly can I do now to make that difference and get this new thing? What is it that I can do for people? So they set up a tent outside. They started getting a butcher. Actually, one of the butcher shops put a butcher, and they started actually cooking the food and giving it to people. So they made a line outside, and their business is thriving. Restaurants which have actually thought outside the box, started making the deliveries. Uh, Things have been really working well for them. So everyone is different right now. Think in terms of the solution. Uh, Stay with people who are right-minded people, who are not talking negative. Don't get into the news every day, which will catapult and pull you down. But take a look at the positives, and you will find the answers.
Wonderful, wonderful. Any closing? Yes, Dr. Halida.
You're on
You're on
mute,
mute.
Dr.
You're on
Anita.
mute.
As we are thinking, all those nice thoughts come in our mind. Um, I was, one thing you were mentioning, Raj, is saving. And I would like to give a very personal experience. When I was at Hopkins, I was given a cubicle when I was doing my PhD. And I realized I was on a scholarship, but my subsistence family, I had two daughters. My husband was doing his PhD, and I got some scholarship. So I realized that my priority is to get my PhD done. This is not my place for enjoying my life. I will enjoy my life after I do my PhD. That was my notion. So what I started doing, not going upstairs on the ninth floor cafeteria for my lunch. I would bring my sandwich from home, sit down, work, review, or do something, and not spend. So going upstairs would take 1 hour. You go upstairs, eat, and have a friend, and then come back. And end of my PhD time, I calculated that I have saved 6 months worth of office hour by not going to the cafeteria.
Wow.
And definitely, as a finance person, you know how much money I have saved that I can use later. And after I graduated, I got a Rockefeller Fellowship and others, and I wore a beautiful shoe. At that time, $20 shoe is very expensive. So I was able to buy one, and I came to the same department where I was on a very subsistence style and all these things. And they looked at my shoe. Oh, wow, Halida, you had a very expensive shoe. What I'm saying that you can be your own role model and make your life tailored as you need to be. And I think that's a big credibility, and I think that is where we can be a role model. Raj has shown whatever. I mean, we have much to share also to everyone, but I think these are some of the examples that I still remember, and my children have seen that, and they are also following in their own lives. So
Wow.
thank you very much. Thank you. I mean,
Oh, wow. That's fabulous. Yes.
See the
yes,
powerful
absolutely.
example? Isn't that is how you have to live your life? Because when you need to pull, you need to pull back. Most people don't do that.
Yeah.
And that is when in later life they are believing, why am I not successful, or why am I not making money? Because you have not done the right work, and maybe you didn't have the right learning. And that is the reason we are bringing you that learning right now. So after you understand, just don't push it aside. God said it, okay. Uh,
Thank you.
implement it.
So, but anyway, in the interest of time, we are a few minutes over our 75 allocated time that we usually use. But thank you for listening to us, and we will again come back in 2 weeks and listen to this awesome people again. And one quick question also, people who are listening to it later, that if you have learned one thing or changed one thing in your life after listening to it on your financial things, and that has helped you, please comment or ask a question on the base of that. So one question or one comment that you can put in based on this conversation, that how it helped or what you changed in your life, please put that comments in. And then any other question, anything you have, you can always go to our Facebook page or our website and send us any question for any of these speakers or any of the panelists that we're going to have and we have on continuous basis, because we'd like to serve and help you guys. And these are the who's who. These are the people who are actually helping and training many others. So, but with that, we'd like to end. I think but thank you all of you, Ron, Raj, Yan, Arti, and Dr. Halida. Please, don't take it lightly, but I know none of our audience will, because the number of watch and everything that I see that people are watching it, that's unbelievable. And I'm definitely hoping that a lot of people are being changed as we are pouring into their lives. So thanks again for being in this platform. So I'll see you guys in 2 weeks, if not before then.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
Deborah, for this excellent
Ov-
reply.
Avi, Kamrul, everybody, thank you. So we'll end it now.
Okay.
Okay, then.
Thanks. Have a
Bye-bye
good
now.
day.
Good day.